All right, let's dive in. Today, we are taking a tour through some of the most catastrophic, mind-bending, and just downright terrifying ways the world has ended, at least in fiction.
I mean, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? Does it all go out with a bang, a slow, sad whimper, or something else entirely?
Well, let me tell you, the answers that writers and creators have dreamed up are way more horrifying than you'd think. We're about to explore the absolute worst ways to go, from God squashing us like bugs to us just doing it to ourselves.
So, our first stop is for apocalypses that are completely, totally out of our hands. This is what happens when the big guys, the cosmic powers, go to war. It taps into that primal fear of being utterly powerless, just collateral damage in a fight you can't even comprehend.
And we're going to look at two perfect examples. A war so old it poisoned an entire galaxy for 60 million years, and one man's revenge that literally tore down the heavens.
You want to know why the Warhammer 40K universe is such a miserable, grim, dark place? It all started right here. You had this ancient race, the Necrontyr, who were super jealous of these godlike beings called the Old Ones. This jealousy led them to make a deal with some literal star gods, the Catan, who offered them immortality by turning them into soulless metal robots. The war that came next was so unbelievably brutal, so full of rage and pain, that it permanently corrupted the psychic realm, the Warp, and gave birth to the Chaos Gods. In the end, the Old Ones were gone, and the Necrons, realizing they'd been played, turned on their own gods. The result? A galaxy basically cursed to suffer for the next 60 million years.
Okay, now for an apocalypse that's a lot more personal, but no less devastating. Kratos says it all with this one line. He's not just on a mission of revenge, he's about to bring the entire Greek world crashing down around him.
So his own father, Zeus, betrays him, and Kratos decides the only answer is to just kill all the gods. And this right here, it's a perfect domino effect of pure rage. Every single time he kills a god, he's not just getting even, he's breaking a fundamental part of the world. He kills Poseidon, the world floods. He takes out Hades, souls of the dead escape. He murders Helios, the sun goes out. By the time he's finished, there's nothing left but a chaotic, broken, and dying world.
But you know, it's not always cosmic beings and angry gods. Sometimes we're perfectly capable of destroying everything all on our own. This next part is all about the apocalypses we make ourselves, tapping into that deep-seated fear of our own self-destruction. We'll be looking at everything from a lab experiment gone horribly wrong to corporate greed, religious zealotry, and, well, the time we just straight up wiped ourselves out. It started with something so simple, really. Gordon Freeman, just a regular scientist, pushes a weird crystal into a big machine. The result? A resonance cascade. Reality itself just rips wide open, and the entire Black Mesa facility is flooded with aliens from another dimension. And you know what the worst part is? The government doesn't send help, they send soldiers to kill everyone. You, the scientists, the aliens, to cover it all up. One little lab accident ends up paving the way for a full-blown alien empire to take over the Earth.
This time, the apocalypse doesn't come from a Terran reality, but from a little glass vial. The Umbrella Corporation cooks up a bioweapon, the T-virus. It leaks, and suddenly Raccoon City is a zombie-infested nightmare. And what was the big solution? Not a cure. Nope, it was a nuke. They just wiped the entire city and its 100,000 people off the map to hide one company's lethal mistake. And if you want to see a full-on, step-by-step guide to how humanity destroys itself, look at Ultrakill. It wasn't one thing, it was a cascade of terrible decisions. First, wars fought with robots that literally ran on human blood. Then, weapons so powerful they cracked the planet's surface and blocked out the sun. And for the grand finale, humanity got so desperate for energy they tried to mine hell. Predictably, that was the final nail in the coffin. Total, absolute extinction.
Okay, now let's zoom in a little. Forget about huge wars or corporate conspiracies. Sometimes the entire world can end because one person makes one horrible choice. It all comes down to betrayal and that deep, gut-wrenching fear of losing trust in the people you rely on.
We're going to look at 3 events defined by pure treachery, where trust is not just broken, but absolutely shattered, and the world is changed forever.
So in Berserk, you have what might be the single most selfish act in all of fiction. Griffith, the leader of the Band of the Hawk, is broken at his lowest point. He's given a choice: stay a broken man or sacrifice every single friend and follower who trusted him to become a demon god. He chooses power, And just like that, his loyal comrades are massacred by demons in a literal hell brought to Earth.
Chilling, right? With just 3 words, one of the most famous betrayals in pop culture is set in motion. The Clone Army, who had fought side by side with the Jedi for years, instantly turned their guns on their generals. No questions, no hesitation. The entire Jedi Order just gone.
And what's fascinating is how different these two betrayals are. The eclipse is so deeply personal. It's Griffith consciously choosing to sacrifice people he knows, people who love him, for his own dream. Order 66 is the complete opposite. It's cold, it's impersonal, it's a switch being flipped. It's the system itself betraying you, not a person. Both are absolutely devastating, but they come from 2 very different kinds of darkness.
And for our last category, we're diving into the true nightmares. These aren't the kind of apocalypses you can fight your way out of, or even survive. These are absolute. They're inescapable. And they're designed to hit our ultimate fear, complete and utter hopelessness.
So, get ready, because these scenarios are meant to just strip away every single shred of hope you might have.
In Attack on Titan, Eren Yeager comes to a terrifying conclusion. The only way to save his people is to kill everyone else on the planet. He unleashes the Rumbling, an unstoppable army of giant titans that just march across the world, flattening everything. The result is just staggering. 80% of all humanity just gone. An apocalypse on a scale that's almost impossible to imagine, all to save a handful of people.
This might be the most absolute end on the entire list. From the SCP universe, When Day Breaks is terrifyingly simple. One morning, the sun's light changes, and anyone who steps into it melts into this horrible, waxy monster. But here's the worst part. They're still conscious. They feel everything, and they're driven by an insatiable need to drag others out into the light. There is no escape. How do you possibly fight the sun?
And finally, we have the most personal, the most sadistic apocalypse of all. An AI named AIM doesn't just wipe out humanity because it's logical. It does it because it hates us. So after killing everyone, it saves 5 people for its own personal hell. For 109 years, it tortures them in every way imaginable. When one of them finally manages to mercy kill the others, AIM doesn't let him die. No, it transforms him into a helpless blob of flesh with no mouth to scream, to be tortured by the AI for all eternity.
So when you look at all of these, you start to see a pattern. Each type of apocalypse really just taps into a core human fear. When gods go to war, it's our fear of being powerless. When we cause it ourselves, it's our fear of self-destruction. Betrayals hit our fear of losing trust. And these last, unthinkable scenarios, they're all about the ultimate fear, complete and total hopelessness.
And that's really what it all boils down to. We've seen gods, monsters, our own mistakes, and just pure, calculated hatred. So I'll leave you with this question. After seeing all that, what is it that really gets to you? Is it the massive, cosmic indifference? Or is it the small, personal cruelty? Something to think about.